guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. And today we have something a little bit different. Today we are going to be doing my first of hopefully many monthly bookish resets. So obviously it's the start of February when I'm posting this. It is the 8th, but I still think like it's a good time to kind of reset for the start of the month. And I do want to start doing this at the start of every month. I've seen a few of these kind of going around on YouTube where people kind of like wrap up the stuff from the last month and talk about the next month coming, kind of getting into goals, TBRs, things like that. So the way this is going to work for me, basically what I want to go over in this video is going to be my reading wrap up for January, because I feel like these don't really do well separately, so I thought I might as well lump it in with something else because I do like to be able to share that with you guys. So the reading wrap up, kind of stats, and also how I'm doing with my goals, like yearly reading goals. And then I also want to talk about the books bought in the previous month if I haven't kind of spoken about them in a specific book haul, and then talk about kind of my loose reading plans for February, kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek into kind of some of the reading vlogs that I have planned, and then also kind of setting up my February TBR. And I think that will be kind of about what we do for this video. It might differ month to month. I might add and take out different things, see what works. But yeah, without further ado, I think I will start off with like the previous month stuff, and then we can move into February stuff. So starting, I guess, with a little January reading wrap up. So in January I read 14 books, which is pretty good for me. I did feel like there was a little bit of a gap in the middle where I wasn't really reading too much when I kind of first moved back to uni, but I did like a 24-hour readathon and got really into the swing of things. So overall I think it balanced out quite nicely. I read 2,488 pages and listened to 56 hours worth of audiobooks approximately, obviously, and my average rating was a 3.7. I did want my average rating for the year to be closer to a 4, slightly below what we're looking for, but this is kind of my average rating year to year. It's been around a 3.7, so that's not surprising. We had no DNFs. I started 3 series, which isn't exactly fabulous, and I will talk a little bit more about some series when I go into my kind of reading goals. And I had 2 like diverse reads, which is kind of another one of my goals for the year. They're just the stats that I track on my little reading spreadsheet. I have the spreadsheet from Ali, which I'll link in the description. I love it so much. It was like £4, maybe less, I'm not sure, very cheap, and it has so much stuff on it. So let's go through book by book. I don't have a lot of these here with me because I did read some of them before I moved back to uni, so they're on my bookshelves at home, and other ones I read via audiobook or Kindle, so I don't own them at all. But I'll go through in order. So firstly we had Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. I read this in my finishing my TBR from 2023 video. I gave this a 4.5. I really enjoyed this. This was such a fun horror book. Had some kind of LGBT rep in there, which I really enjoyed, and it basically followed kind of like a haunted conversion camp, and it was really interesting. Had some cool commentary on kind of like that kind of aspect of things, and overall I really did enjoy it. I won't talk super in depth about the ones that had dedicated vlogs. You'll see that as we come along. Next I read Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the first book in the Addicted series, and I read this for my scavenger hunt kind of picks what I read, and I really enjoyed this a lot more than expected. Planning to continue on with the series. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I gave this one a 4-star. I thought it was a very solid book. Definitely kind of less like literary, very much easy to read. I read it on my Kindle and I read it pretty quickly. This is basically following Lily and Lo, who are both addicts, and they are in a fake relationship, but they obviously have real feelings for each other because it's a romance, and they're basically kind of facilitating each other's addictions, to be honest, and it's about kind of the personal growth and also their relationship. So this was a really fun one and I did have a good time with it. Then I read The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This was in my reading 200 pages a day for a week video, and I really enjoyed this as well. I've heard mixed things, but this was just such a fun like wintry thriller novella. The first half of this is basically kind of the setup and the story, and then the second half is basically explaining everything that happened as well. I also gave this a 4-star. Very quick and easy read, and I had a great time with it, so no complaints. Definitely would recommend that one. Then I read Ask for Andrea and the little kind of spin-off couple of chapters of The River by Noelle W. Illy, and I gave Ask for Andrea a 5 stars. This is my first and only 5-star of the year so far, and I absolutely adored it. This is kind of like a thriller kind of horror paranormal-y vibe. It's basically following 3 women that that have been killed by a serial killer as they kind of come together. It is kind of ghosty and they basically try and like stop him pretty much. But yeah, this was really tense towards the end. I've kind of described this as like the vibes of Bright Young Women mixed with kind of like the thrill of No Exit. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but like that's how I kind of perceived it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a solid 5 stars. The little spin-off The River, I just gave a 3.5. It was only a couple of chapters. It was about 15 pages. It was fine. I don't think it was like fully needed, but it just like followed another character towards the end of the book, which I enjoyed as well. Oh, also I forgot to mention, talking about February reset, guys, look at my February nails. How cute are they? They've got little love hearts for Valentine's Day. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. Sorry, I just had to mention that because I talked with my hands and I could see them, and I was looking at my nails in the viewfinder. I was like, they look so cute. Then we have A Spoonful of Murder by J.M. Hall. I read this one for my wrapped up blindly reading my TBR books. You'll see in this list, this is in chronological order. Some books I'm listening to via audiobooks, so I finished them at a bit odd times that aren't technically just with the bulk of that video. But this was for my blindly picking my TBR video, and I gave this one a 4 stars as well. I really enjoyed it. This is like, because I've wrapped up kind of my highest and lowest rated books, this was actually one of my lowest rated, which I was really surprised by. I had such a fun time with it. I'm definitely going to be continuing on with the series. This just follows kind of like Thursday Murder Club-esque group of older kind of people trying to solve a murder mystery, and yeah, I had a fun time with it. I wasn't super connected to the mystery itself, like I wasn't really invested in figuring out what happened, but I really enjoyed the characters. I liked the vibes, and I just had a fun time listening to it. Like, no complaints here. Very much enjoyed it. And then back to my 200 pages a day for a week of video, I read The Humans by Matt Haig. I gave this a 3.5. This was a very nice story. It followed kind of like an alien as he came to Earth and had to like take over this man's body and basically live his life, and it's kind of talking about like what it means to be human, I guess. There were just a couple aspects in here that like were a bit weird. Like, people were getting murdered and like we were meant to really root for the person that was doing the murdering, so like it felt a little bit off, and like there was just a couple of aspects with like the relationship in the book that I was like, oh, I don't know how kind of okay this is, because you know, you're pretending to be this person's husband but you're actually an alien. Like, it's all kind of weird, but overall I give it a 3.5. like, it wasn't glaringly an issue or anything like that, but I had a fun time. I keep saying I had a fun time with it, like obviously I had a fun time with it. I like reading, but yeah, overall it was fine. Not kind of like anything standout-ish. It was definitely kind of one of the more forgettable ones of the month, I think. Then I read God Killer by Hannah Kaner, and I did not like this one very much. I gave this a 2.75. This is basically a fantasy book. I actually have it here. This is the first one I have physically. This is a fantasy book about kind of like, it's very much a quest story about these 3 people, and you get their different perspectives as they are kind of trying to kind of like get something from a god to kind of like serve their purpose. And the main character is a god killer, but she doesn't actually kill very many gods in this. Like, overall I just found it very underwhelming. Like, I was talking about this because it's part of a book club I'm in, and part of the discussion was saying it kind of felt like a second book in the series / it needed a prequel, because there were some like really strong relationships in here that were kind of spoken about very briefly, like a nice found family aspect with one of the main characters, but we only see that kind of found family for like 1 chapter. It's almost like we should have known stuff previously. And then the final reveal at the end, I don't want to give too much away about it, but I didn't feel connected to most of the characters involved, and therefore it wasn't like a great reveal in my personal opinion. I feel like if there was a previous book that kind of outlined these relationships and stuff, it would make more sense. But overall, yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed by it. There is such a stunning cover. I gave it a 2.75. I won't be continuing on with the series for this one. Then I read Flawless by Elsie Silver, also for that same video. I gave this one a 4 star. I thought I gave it a 3.75, but I actually gave it a 4. I really thought this was such a cute little romance book. I have later read Heartless, which I won't get into because I did read that in February, which I preferred. But overall, this is a really cute, wholesome little romance. It's between a bull rider and his like PR type of person, and she has to basically live with him for the summer, and it's just a very sweet little romance. I didn't feel super connected to the characters, but overall I didn't have any like complaints about it. There were no issues with it, and I had a fun time. I definitely like was eager to pick it up, see what was going to happen, etc, etc. But I think after reading the next book in the series, I could like bump this down to a 3.75 because I love the second book. So yeah, that was just like kind of what the vibes are, but I really am enjoying the Chestnut Spring series so far, and I'm like just think they're really cute little romance books, and definitely kind of like above average. I feel like a lot of romance books kind of fall a bit to the middle for me, unfortunately, but these ones are definitely kind of some of the really good ones. Then I read One of Us Is Back for a video that you have not quite seen yet but should be seeing this weekend. I won't speak too much about it here, but I gave it a 3 stars. This is the final book in the One of Us Is Lying type of series series. I liked being back with the characters, but overall I wasn't super invested in the mystery. I didn't care too much for it. I had it via audiobook. I probably wouldn't have picked it up if I didn't, and overall it was just fine. I didn't think that the mystery was very like developed. I feel like if I'd actually thought about it in terms of like book plotting and such, it would have been very, very easy to guess who it was. I wasn't like even trying to. So yeah, overall just kind of fine feelings about that one. Then I read the Pallbearers Club, also for that blindly picking my TBR video. So I gave this one a 3.75. This one basically is kind of like a autobiography, like it's all fiction, an autobiography about this boy's kind of life story, and a girl who's kind of like a big part of it is like annotating it and kind of writing her perspective in it as well. This was fun. It was definitely a little bit weird. I did feel like we were building to a little bit more of a big finale, and I feel like there wasn't one, and that was a little bit personally a letdown for me. But overall it's definitely a very unique book. It's very kind of like indie film vibes, I guess, if that makes sense. But overall I did enjoy it. I definitely haven't read anything like this, and I'm not sure if I will. But overall, like, my enjoyment level towards the end, I did pick up the audiobook because I felt like it was dragging a little bit. There was some kind of pacing issues towards kind of like maybe the third quarter. And yeah, overall not too strong opinions, but I did overall have a decent time with it. So I would recommend, but maybe like tentatively, because I know this was like the lowest rated book on my TBR, so a lot of people do not like it at all, but I kind of just felt middly towards good towards it, if that makes any sense. Then I read Spare by Prince Harry for a video that you will not see for another week. And again, I won't talk too much about this, but I gave it a 3. I don't care too much for the royal family. I don't particularly like them very much. Like, I don't feel any type of way about them, so I kind of felt like I didn't care enough to read such a long audiobook about a person that I'm like, oh, I just know of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, this would be to me like kind of reading like a footballer's autobiography. Like, it was okay. Some aspects were interesting. I did think it was kind of unnecessarily long, but like, who am I to say that about someone's autobiography, you know what I mean? And I didn't kind of enjoy like such the heavy focus on the military. Obviously he's been in the army and stuff, but like, I don't enjoy hearing about the murder of people, like, you know, no matter who they are, but whatever. It was just fine. If you're interested, pick it up. If you're not interested, don't. Like, it's all about kind of, I think, how much you're interested in him as a person, but like, I don't have any like ill feelings towards him. He's just like a person to me, if that makes sense. Then I picked up Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney as part of my 24-hour readathon. I gave this a 1.5. I did not enjoy this one, unfortunately. For me, it fell very flat. I just found it very boring. Yeah, it didn't feel like a thriller. It didn't feel like a mystery. I didn't feel connected to the characters. None of the reveals like caught me off guard. I just did not care. It was such like a boring premise for a story as well. Like, I just did not find it interesting at all, so I gave it a 1.5. And then my final book for January was Penance by Eliza Clark, and we definitely ended off on a very strong note. I gave this a 4.75, so my second favourite book of the month. This is one of my favourite like versions of ways to tell a story, I guess, which is like fiction framed as like true crime non-fiction. And this was super interesting, following the story of basically 3 schoolgirls who killed their classmate. And again, like, it's told as if it's like a true story, which was very interesting. And yeah, I thought this writing was incredible, felt so real, so detailed, and yeah, I gave it a 4.75, so very strong for me. So now kind of going into how we are doing for my yearly goals, I guess. So I'm pulling out my reading journal. In future months you will have videos of me kind of updating this in this video, but I did not bring my supplies to uni, so unfortunately I will not be doing that in this video. But for my reading goals, so I want to read 150 books. Obviously we are on track. I read 14 this month, which is more than I need to, I believe. I have to read 12.5 books a month, so we're definitely on track to hit 150, although my Goodreads goal is like 164, because it's just like 1 extra than I hit last year. I wanted to read 10 books over 500 pages. I don't think I read any this month, unfortunately. Yeah, no books over 500 pages. The longest one was Penance at 431. Spare probably would have been, but I listened to it via audiobook, so I'm not going to include that one. DNF books, I didn't DNF anything, but there was also nothing really that I felt like DNFing. I mean, I guess God Killer I probably would have, but it was for a book club, so I wanted to kind of participate in the discussion fully. And then Good Bad Girl, that was an audiobook, so I didn't feel any way about that. Read 5 classics, none this month. Get my physical TBR under 100 books. I didn't actually read very much off my physical TBR. The only books were Camp Damascus, Christmas Guest, Ask for Andrea, oh, Spoonful of Murder and the Humans. Actually, okay, so we had a few before I moved back to uni, but since coming back to uni I've only read these two because Penance I also got this month, which is a little bit poor. Get my currently reading series under 10. I did not know I set the goal for 10. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's pull up my series spreadsheet. So I'm actually in the middle of finishing the series I'm currently reading. So we're going off the starting point for that, so not including the books that I have read. So not included One of Us is back and another one that I've read, so I'm going to be excluding those just because like it just makes things easier. So I am currently in the middle of 26 series, which is a lot. Ones that we have added on this month would be the Addicted to You series. That is a 9-book series, I believe. Very long, oh no, a 10-book series, and I've read 1, so that would make it a 9 books left to read in that one, so a very long series. I also added the Liz, Pat and Thelma series for A Spoonful of Murder. That's a 3-book series. Chestnut Springs series I also added on this month, which has 5 books, I believe, and I've now read 2. And then also I finished off the One of Us is Lying trilogy. So we're not doing too well with that goal. We are obviously on 26, which is more than we were on at the start of the month, but I mean, hopefully we can knock it down. Who knows? Including One of Us is Lying, I'm in the middle of 25, but on here obviously it says 26. So we will see how that goes. Obviously that is not ideal, but you know what? It's fine. And then I also had a goal to read 10 non-fiction, and I read 1. I read Spare, which I'm including as a non-fiction, even though it's a memoir. Like, it's non-fiction, so I'm going to be including that. So that is fab, and that means we are ahead of time, I guess. And then looking at my 24 in 2024, did I read anything on here? None of my 2024 releases. I did read None of Us is Back. That was on my list, so that is doing some heavy lifting in multiple departments, but that is on here. More Than This is on my February TBR, which will be fun. None of the non-fictions and none of the anticipated releases. Okay, so not doing fab, but that is fine. That is kind of where we are at with reading goals, I guess. So we read 1 of my 24 and 2024. I should be reading 1 a month. It's fine, whatever. And I need to actually complete this because I didn't bring my stuff to uni, and now I just have like unfinished pages. So I will aim to do that when I'm home. Hopefully I can do that. So now talking about books I bought this month, I have a couple that have shipped to home. So basically I am on a book buying ban. Obviously I do not want to be buying too many books, however I have found some loopholes. So I had my Evernight subscription arrive at home, which I'll unbox in a different video, probably as just part of a reading vlog. I didn't cancel that because that's only quarterly, so I thought that wouldn't matter too much. Then I had my friend Karis was giving away books. She was doing an unhaul and I just had to pay for shipping. So technically I paid for shipping. I didn't pay for the books. I'll also unbox those in that video because they are sitting at home for me. And I did buy a book with a £5 voucher because it was £5 in the sale. Technically I didn't buy the money on books. I know I want to book my ban, but like that's fine. And then I bought my boyfriend a book, and in return he also bought me a book. So that was Penance. That was a gift from him, even though I bought him a book. But like, you know, loopholes, it's fine. And then finally he did just buy me 2 other books in the second-hand shop. He got me 0 Days by Ruth Ware. This was only £2.50 for the hardback, which I was very, very pleased about. This is obviously a 2023 release that I was pretty excited about. It was on, I believe, my most anticipated releases at one point. So yeah, I would like to pick this up sometime soon, and it's very shorter than I expected. So that is another one acquired. And then also Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This was recommended to me by one of you guys when I said I liked Cersei, I believe. And yeah, this was also £2.50 and pretty much like brand new condition. So I'm really excited about those two. So technically I have not spent any of my own money specifically on books besides the Evernight subscription, but also like I was bringing in like 20 books every month or two. So for me to have only brought in, what is it, the 2 books that I paid for shipping for, my Evernight subscription, the one with the voucher, and this one is 7. Why could I not figure that out? That was a bit embarrassing. So yeah, 7 books isn't too bad for me, I don't think. And yeah, obviously I'm still going to try and keep it on the low for the next few months. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about new releases. We've only got 3 in February. So we've got Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, which I've already pre-ordered, so that's definitely coming. There's Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and also Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. So Everyone on This Train is a Suspect shouldn't be an issue because I believe it's coming out in hardback and then paperback kind of in the summertime, so there's quite a quick turnaround on that, and I have the first one in paperback, so I'll definitely lean towards that. So that's an issue for the summer. And then Bride, I'm not sure whether I'm going to pick up this month because I would like to stick to my book buying ban, but like maybe as a treat I should get it, like I'm not sure. So we will see what I do about that. And I have pre-ordered Magnolia Park, so that is the kind of upcomingness for February. And then I believe the only thing left is to kind of sort out my little TBR, talk about some of my reading plans for the next month, maybe give a couple of spoilers, not really, but kind of. So if you want like all of my secret TBRs to be like a complete surprise, do turn off now. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to basically kind of organise my little TBR with the books that I want to read in kind of like the right order, so that hopefully I can get through them all this month. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I have the books I read last month, which I can obviously put back in their little stack. I'm going home in about a week or so, so I will just take them home with me, and then I can put them on my proper bookshelves, and you will have like a nice little bookshelf reorganisation, because I've got a lot of stuff I want to do with that. So I've got my finishing series blog that I mentioned, and I am kind of part way through the last book for that, so that's not here, that's on my side table with the other 2 books I'm in the middle of. Yay, love that for me. But then, because I have a reading vlog every Sunday, on the 18th I'm gonna be reading these 2 books for it. So very excited. We have Fourth Wing finally back again. It's a library book though, so I really need to read it sooner rather than later. I want to finish it before I go home, because it's the library at my uni, so we'll see. And then I also have Hidden Pictures here, which I'm reading for that video too, so they can sit there. This was on last month's TBR, this is on this month's TBR. Then I'm going to be filming a video at home, so I have the books there for that, that's not a problem. And then I want to have these 3 together. These 3 I have already started, and I'm like a little bit of the way through all of them, which is so poor from me. You know, I don't normally do that, but I'm just like struggling with some of these books. Like, nothing bad about them, I just went to a phase where I'd like pick up everything and put it down like at the kind of start to middle of January. Now I'm much more into it though, so that is a good thing. Then we have some more over here that I want to get round to. So we have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which I'm super duper excited for. I've got Mist and Fury as well, I really want to get to. And then I have these ones as well for the same video that I'm a little bit less excited about, but still do want to get to at some point. I feel like I'm missing a book here. This feels like shorter than it was before, but I also want to read this for a specific video. I'm really excited about this one actually. So if this can fit in here, oh no, it doesn't quite fit, that's annoying. I might take Check and Mate out, just because it's the size problem. And now they fit in there quite nicely. And I'll just slot Check and Mate here like that. And then I guess, so I will have this one here, and then I'll put my new one in here because I don't want to get around to that sooner rather than later. And then I can pop Karanessi in here, and my other library book in. So this side is definitely like immediate TBR in the order that I'm hoping to read them. I know I seem super type A, but these are the books that you will see in videos kind of into the very start of March, hopefully. So like, you know, hopefully you're excited about this. But yeah, that is pretty much everything. And I think we're done, my little reset. Okay, so that was the first out of my kind of 2024 monthly resets. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any bits that you'd want me to include that I didn't include, anything that you like didn't like about it, let me know. There will be book journal stuff coming in the next ones. I just don't have the supplies obviously, and I don't have the spreads updated, which I will do when I go home. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If there's other bits you want to know, bits you don't care about, yeah, like I said, let me know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn the bell to join a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you want to watch my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as they've linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.